This is a simplified story about the conflict in Eastern Congo. It is not all about conflict, minerals, and tech giants profiting from African misery. The truth is deeper, more uncomfortable, and far more complex. This is the real story of the M23 conflict and what the world keeps getting dangerously wrong. The dominant narrative paints the M23 rebels, backed by Rwanda, as ruthless looters, stripping the Democratic Republic of Congo of its mineral wealth. It suggests that global tech giants are indirectly complicit, purchasing minerals like coltan and cassiterite mined in conflict zones to power the very devices we use every day. It's a story that feels compelling. It's direct, emotionally charged, and connects Western consumption to African suffering. The structure is familiar: clear villains, innocent victims, and a morally outraged public. For over 30 years, this lens has shaped how international media, advocacy campaigns, and even foreign policy interpret Eastern Congo's crisis. M23 and Rwanda may be part of the picture, but they are not the whole. This simplified framing also gives Western audiences a false sense of empowerment. It suggests that small acts, avoiding the latest gadget or signing an online petition, can disrupt cycles of violence. Meanwhile, the systemic drivers of conflict remain unchallenged, and superficial responses like mineral bans become popular substitutes for meaningful action. In other regions, war is explained through ideology, strategy, or historical trauma. But when it's Africa, the world too often reverts to a stereotype: senseless violence fueled by a lust for profit. This mindset not only erases African agency, it reinforces the colonial notion that external saviors must step in to fix what Africans cannot. The truth is far more complex and far more human. Congo's challenges are rooted in political exclusion, failed peace processes, historical wounds, and regional power plays. More importantly, this dangerously misunderstands how the mineral trade works. Many of these so-called conflict minerals flow through legal and semi-legal networks, regulated by governments, monitored by international organizations, and used by local traders who are not part of armed groups. The idea that minerals alone are driving the war obscures far deeper realities. Eastern DRC is a region where governance has failed repeatedly, where militias step in to provide security, settle land disputes, or enforce law when the state cannot. These dynamics cannot be reduced to greed. They are symptoms of deep structural breakdowns, unresolved historical trauma, and regional rivalries dating back to colonial borders and post-genocide upheaval. So, what's really going on? Yes, M23 profits from minerals. In 2023, they seized the Rubaya mine, one of the world's largest coltan deposits, and reportedly earn $800,000 per month from taxes. But here's the thing: that mine takeover happened 2 years after they launched their rebellion. Mineral wealth may sustain their operations, but it didn't cause the conflict. In fact, the DRC's richest deposits of copper, cobalt, and other critical minerals are located far from the M23 zones. They lie in the southeast, embedded in international trade networks, controlled by multinational corporations and state-owned companies, not rebels or militias. The idea that M23 is somehow the gatekeeper to Congo's mineral wealth is a myth. So, what's fueling their return? It starts with broken peace deals, specifically the 2009 March 23rd agreement, which promised the integration of M23 fighters into the National Army. That promise was never fully honored. Fighters were sidelined, discriminated against, and in some cases, targeted. Disillusioned and angry, some returned to the bush. Then there's the deeper issue, the marginalization of the Congolese Tutsi community. Many within M23's leadership hail from this group, which has long faced exclusion and suspicion, partly due to its ethnic ties to Rwanda. When the Congolese state fails to protect these communities, or worse, collaborates with militias that threaten them, it creates fertile ground for rebellion. And it doesn't stop there. Eastern Congo has become a geopolitical chessboard. Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda have all projected power into the region over the years, sometimes under the pretense of national security, other times for strategic or economic advantage. Each of these players views Eastern Congo not only as a threat, but also as an opportunity. Minerals might fund the conflict, but they didn't start the fire. In the midst of all this lies the M23 group, formed in 2012. Now consider Rwanda. The UN says Rwanda has thousands of troops supporting M23. Why? Because since the 1994 genocide, Rwanda has treated Eastern Congo as both a threat and a resource. Rwanda claims its involvement is defensive, to counter Hutu militias hiding in the Congo, but others say it's about influence, power, and profit. And it's not just Rwanda. Uganda, Burundi, and other neighbors have also intervened in Eastern Congo over the years for similar reasons. Meanwhile, the Congolese government has failed to build a cohesive, capable army. It has failed to resolve identity-based conflicts. In this void, militias flourish. The chaos becomes their currency. Speaking of currency, let's talk economics. Rwanda doesn't need M23 to access Congolese minerals. DRC traders often export minerals voluntarily through Rwanda, where taxes and bureaucracy are lower. Coltan is not even Rwanda's top earner. Tourism and gold generate far more revenue. M23 has no presence in Congo's main gold areas, and most of the coltan leaving the region travels through legal and semi-legal channels. This begs the question, who truly benefits from the violence? We know very well that it clearly isn't the tech companies, as multinational corporations want stability. They want predictable supply chains, and war disrupts that. For example, legislation like the Dodd-Frank Act and the EU's Conflict Minerals Law has led to traceability schemes. Take the ITSCI traceability program. It was designed to ensure ethical sourcing of minerals, but in practice, it imposes significantly higher costs on Congolese miners compared to their Rwandan counterparts. This pricing imbalance drives a thriving smuggling economy, where minerals are rerouted into Rwanda to escape the financial and bureaucratic burden. And the ripple effects are devastating. Major companies, including Apple, now avoid sourcing minerals from the DRC altogether. Thousands of families, many already living on the edge, are being pushed further into poverty because international buyers are too weary to touch Congolese supply chains. The painful irony is this: narratives that oversimplify conflict may seem helpful, but they can have deadly consequences. They kill jobs by cutting off trade and deterring investment. And to make it worse, international responses aiming to bring a resolution are misguided, focusing on the wrong issues, empowering shadow economies and corrupt actors, instead of addressing structural injustice. By doing so, the world ends up punishing the very people it claims to protect. The M23 conflict isn't just about minerals. It's about history, identity, failed diplomacy, and broken promises, all taking place in a country struggling to heal, surrounded by neighbors who see opportunity in its weakness. We must stop pretending that consumer choices in the West will fix this. The people of Congo need peace, justice, and accountable governance.